Words matter, and mine are no exception. I regret my comments, as I said, and I stand corrected. I respect everything everyone is saying to me, and I don't want to fake apologize. I'm very upset about that people are misunderstood what I was saying. And people got very, very, very angry, and still are angry. I mean, I'm getting, all of the mail from folks, and the very real anger, because people feel and it's not good for anyone, and it's not good for poor folks. It is not good for y'all, because you become slave fodder. It's not a good thing. It's not good for women, because you are now being told and dictated to, and you can't say anything because they, throw you in a jail or whatever.
Isn't it rich that the View is saying she got the job based on looks when DEI is all about based on looks?
She's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though. It's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration. These despicable women on The View. They are wildly out of touch with the vast majority of Americans, and frankly, they should seek immediate help.
The hosts of The View are reportedly scrambling as Karoline Leavitt's $800 million lawsuit intensifies. After weeks of brushing it off, mocking it, and labeling it merely a political stunt, the situation now appears to be getting serious.
Well, listen. If you don't have anything to say, you blab. You just go on and 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 on.
But now, the laughter has faded, and reports suggest the hosts are pleading with her to drop the case. So what shifted? At first, the show responded with open arrogance. They treated the lawsuit like a punchline. Joy Behar even rolled her eyes, brushing it off as just another conservative trying to play the victim. Whoopi Goldberg, who's no stranger to controversy, completely dismissed the situation. "Please," she scoffed, "this'll be forgotten in a week." Even Sunny Hostin, the show's go-to legal expert, spoke with full confidence, stating, "This lawsuit doesn't have a leg to stand on. It'll be dismissed right away," they had said. But now, behind the scenes, things are looking very different, and it could have serious consequences for ABC and The View hosts. So, what sparked this change? Is the lawsuit more threatening than originally believed? Stay tuned. This story is evolving quickly.
For me, and sort of lived lives of dreams deferred, and poured everything in me, and just my life, how I transitioned from college. I went to college when I was 16, high school when I was 12, the struggle of that, and my career as a federal prosecutor, and then how I found my way.
Initially, the media protected them, but that didn't last long. For a brief period, it appeared the hosts' tactic of ignoring the lawsuit was effective. Major outlets like CNN, MSNBC, and others quickly supported them, dismissing the $800 million claim as absurd and groundless. Legal analysts joined in, labeling the lawsuit as a desperate attempt to stifle free speech. This only strengthened The View's belief that the controversy would fizzle out on its own. With the media echoing their confidence, the hosts were certain they could ride out the storm. But now, that confidence is quickly beginning to unravel.
They really don't like this woman. She's a good communicator. And so Joy Behar just offered her analysis on why Leavitt was.
As the women of The View continued to joke on air, confidently brushing off the $800 million lawsuit behind the scenes at ABC, chaos was quietly brewing. Sources reveal that the network's legal team wasn't laughing. They were in a state of panic. Unlike the hosts, ABC's lawyers foresaw the brewing storm and understood what the public didn't. This lawsuit wasn't just empty noise. It was a real threat, supported by solid evidence and strong legal backing. Despite the show's lighthearted exterior, ABC's legal team quickly went into crisis mode. Internally, the atmosphere shifted to one of urgency. What had initially been dismissed as a conservative publicity stunt was now recognized as a legitimate legal challenge. Equipped with documents, witness statements, and detailed claims of defamation, hostile work conditions, and intentional harm, a spokesperson from ABC's legal team emphasized, "We approach every legal matter with the utmost seriousness and professionalism. This case is no different." According to insiders, this lawsuit is substantial, and ABC is fully aware of its potential impact.
I have to stop you with the camera because I can see you. So do me a favor, don't pull it out again. I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Donald Trump, who you work for.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past. Now,
I'm sorry, guys. We're going to come back out to the panel. Caroline, thank you very much for your time. That was so good.
What began as laughter has now turned into full-blown corporate panic. Just weeks ago, the women of The View dismissed Karoline Leavitt's staggering $800 million lawsuit as if it were a joke. Smiling, joking, and brushing it off, that was their approach. But now, the very same women who mocked the lawsuit are reportedly pleading with her to drop the case. So, what caused this rapid turnaround? Is ABC preparing for its biggest scandal yet? Initially, the hosts dismissed the lawsuit as beneath them. Leavitt's allegations were mocked and branded as just another conservative publicity stunt. Joy Behar rolled her eyes, dismissing it as a victim act. Whoopi Goldberg, the show's seasoned anchor, shrugged it off, saying, "We've faced worse. This will be forgotten by next week." Sunny Hostin, the show's legal analyst, remained firm in her stance. "This won't go anywhere. There's no legal basis for it." The hosts were confident it would fade away, just like the controversies before it. For a while, it seemed like they were right. Major outlets like CNN and MSNBC echoed their views, dismissing the lawsuit as baseless and calling it an obvious attempt to silence free speech. Legal analysts predicted it would be thrown out right away. The hosts of The View became even more certain that the case would fade away quietly. But inside ABC's headquarters, things were far from calm. Behind closed doors, the network's legal team was in full crisis mode. Unlike the show's panel, ABC's lawyers weren't cracking jokes, they were sounding alarms. To them, Leavitt's lawsuit wasn't a joke. It was a legitimate legal threat with significant consequences. An insider disclosed, "This is a serious matter, and we're handling it with the utmost attention and care." As for the evidence, it's reportedly significant. Internal documents, eyewitness testimonies, and a well-structured case alleging defamation, toxic work conditions, and intentional harm. This wasn't just a fleeting bad news cycle. It was a legal bomb ready to go off. That's when the panic took hold. ABC's executives, fearing the potential fallout, split into two factions. One group pushed for an all-out courtroom battle, while the other, concerned about what could be exposed, advocated for a quiet settlement. Behind closed doors, ABC had already begun moving forward without informing the hosts. When the cast discovered that the network was considering a settlement, chaos ensued. Whoopi Goldberg, in particular, was outraged. After mocking the lawsuit, for weeks, the idea of negotiating with Karoline Leavitt felt like a betrayal. ABC may have just made its most high-stakes move yet. Will The View survive this scandal, or is this the start of the end for ABC?
Divisive and disgusting speech that any president, certainly in my lifetime, has ever given. He essentially waged war on half of the country by saying that we are all a threat to democracy because we believe in putting America first. It's not radical to want to put your country and your own people first. It's not radical to want to have a strong border, a strong military, and to unleash the might of your own economy, not economies around the world. You know, we have seen cultural Marxism trickling its way through every institution in this country. The public school system, the higher education university system, Hollywood, big tech, the corrupt mainstream media that I fought against in President Trump's White House are indoctrinating my generation of Americans into hating our country, hating one another based on race and gender and sex and all of this other BS.
In a closed-door meeting, sources say Whoopi Goldberg lost it. Are you serious? We're actually taking her seriously now? For Whoopi, this was deeply personal. After weathering countless controversies, the thought that ABC might yield to Karoline Leavitt's $800 million lawsuit was infuriating, and she wasn't the only one upset. Joy Behar was equally furious. She stormed into her dressing room, slammed her makeup kit down, and fumed, "We built this show. We made this network money, and now they're backing down over some ridiculous lawsuit?" Joy Behar was ready to fight until the very end. Even Sunny Hostin, who usually stays composed, was clearly shaken. As a former prosecutor, she understood the severity of the situation. She had seen the court documents, knew the evidence, and most chilling of all, she realized that every person on the panel could be pulled into that courtroom. Every word they'd ever said, on and off air, could come back to haunt them. What started as a legal matter had now escalated into a full-blown PR crisis. Then came the unexpected moment. On live television, The View dramatically shifted its tone. The jokes and sarcasm were gone. Whoopi began the segment with a serious demeanor, shaking her head. "I think we all need to take a breath. There's been too much hostility. This isn't helping anyone." The change was unmistakable. The turnaround was in full swing. Joy, who had once dismissed the lawsuit with laughter, now asked, "Why does this have to go so far? Can't we just sit down and talk it out?" Sunny, speaking directly to the camera, chose her words carefully. "Karoline, if you're watching, there may be a better way to resolve this without dragging it through court. Maybe it's time to find common ground." One of the most surprising turnarounds in modern television was happening before everyone's eyes. The same women who had mocked Karoline Leavitt just weeks ago were now pleading for peace. But let's be honest, this wasn't about unity. It was about self-preservation. Sources reveal that ABC's legal team had warned the hosts, if this case moves forward, everything is at stake. Everything. Internal emails, call logs, private conversations, all could be exposed in court. And once the show went live, the backlash was swift. Viewers weren't buying the sudden change in tone. For weeks, the hosts had mocked Leavitt's lawsuit, but now they were asking for mercy? Social media erupted. Thousands flooded The View's official pages with criticism. One viral comment captured it perfectly. "If you weren't guilty, you wouldn't be begging." The memes started pouring in. One meme showed Whoopi looking anxious, next to a screenshot of her mocking the lawsuit just days earlier. Another featured Joy Behar stumbling through her apology, with the caption, "When the checks are on the line." Conservative outlets didn't hesitate. Fox News aired segments tearing into the hosts' flip-flop, and the Daily Wire published harsh critiques of their hypocrisy. Independent YouTubers labeled it the worst damage control in recent memory. By the time the apology aired, the damage was irreversible. Ratings plummeted, advertisers pulled out, and inside ABC, the reality hit hard. What had been a manageable issue was now a full-blown crisis. If Leavitt moves forward and the case actually goes to trial, The View could be torn apart. Careers could end, reputations ruined, and here's the twist. Karoline Leavitt isn't backing down. The more The View pleads, the stronger she becomes. The same show that once mocked her is now unraveling. This is no ordinary lawsuit. This could be the scandal that takes The View down for good. So, what's your take? Will The View make it through? Or is Karoline Leavitt on the verge of pulling off the biggest upset in daytime TV history? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more breaking updates as this story unfolds.